BBC Radio Norfolk.
Not long to Halloween, and it's quite a big thing these days, isn't it? And some figures out today show that 15 million pumpkins were carved but not eaten last year at Halloween. Enough to make a bowl of pumpkin soup for every single person in Great Britain. Well, let's find out if these figures are to be expected and what maybe can be done with pumpkins once they've been carved out, because it's not really a tradition to cook with them here, is it? Lisa Faulkner is a Celebrity MasterChef winner and mum. And Lisa, welcome to the programme.
Hi there.
So tell us a little bit about these figures then. Were you shocked to see 15 million pumpkins almost going to waste?
Do you know, I really was. Hubbub and Unilever got together and did this survey and yes, found out that 15 million pumpkins were carved and not eaten. But also that when they interviewed a lot of people, they found out that half of people that bought the pumpkins thought that pumpkins were just to carve and not to eat. And you're right, you said earlier about it not being very British, and you sort of think of pumpkin pie in America. But you have all this beautiful pumpkin just going to waste. So we're trying to say carve your pumpkin and then use the inside and make a delicious soup or roast pumpkin or whatever else you want to do with it.
And it's big business these days, isn't it? It must be worth a lot of money, all these 15 million pumpkins. I know that they're grown in various fields. Certainly in West Norfolk, there are fields full of pumpkins, but that's a lot of agricultural land to be used for really no food production, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we just need to start being, well, not start being aware, but be more aware of what we're doing and how we can stop so much waste, really.
So as a parent, Lisa, is it a big time of the year for the children?
My daughter's obsessed with Halloween. I have to say she prefers it, I think, to Easter, and that involves chocolate. But she's already made her dressing up outfit for next Monday, and today I'm going home with pumpkins to carve this afternoon. But what we'll do is she loves carving them, and she loves making her pumpkin look like it's been sick, and we put candles in it, whatever, but we're also going to then cook with it afterwards, which she loves to do. And while you've got the kitchen messy and the kids off, it's a really, really nice thing to do.
So is it soup then? Will that be, it's a lot of pumpkin to use, isn't it? So is it all going to go in the soup?
Well, it's actually, a pumpkin soup is really easy, and what Unilever and Hubbub had found was that people didn't know how to cook with pumpkins and were quite scared of cooking with them. So a soup is a really good place to start, because you can literally scoop out the seeds and scoop the flesh out and put the flesh into a roasting tin with some olive oil and some garlic and some sage and a stock cube, and literally put it in the oven for about 40 minutes. Blitz it up with a bit of cream and you've got a delicious soup. And so, that's how easy it can be. And then, of course, you can do other things with it. To roast pumpkin and have it with roasted vegetables and a roast chicken is lovely. Or to do little pumpkin pasties, pumpkin and blue cheese pasties. So there are loads of things. And people make cakes with them as well.
And all these recipes people can now look up on the computer, can't they? I'm sure, that it's fairly easy to reach any one of these recipes these days.
Absolutely. And if you go to hubbub.org.uk, there's the pumpkin recipes, there's tips and recipes of what to do with your pumpkin. And also there's these feasts and all different things being held around London and around the UK. So if you go on the website, you will see all of the stuff. And also there's a hashtag pumpkin rescue for people on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook.
And Hubbub are a charity which, amongst other things, they're very keen on the whole issue of food waste, aren't they, and bringing it down in the UK.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think we can all do our own little bit. And I think as a mum, I'm always looking at ways to try and sort of stop using so much food or stop wasting so much food by freezing it or batch cooking or planning ahead what I'm cooking, so I'm not throwing out stuff that I've bought, which is really just sad.
That thing about planning, and one of those tips I've always been told, and I think it works, is when you go to the supermarket for the big weekly shop or monthly shop, always have a list. Because I see people walking around my local supermarket and they're just picking things off the shelf willy-nilly, and you think, well, are you going to actually eat all that stuff?
Well, yeah, and I think what you do is you go to the supermarket, you haven't got a list, and you go, have I got any carrots? Have I got any left? Oh, no, do you know what? I'll buy some more just in case. And you get home and you have, and then the other ones are sometimes just thrown in the bin instead of being used. So it's really nice to think ahead, to write a list, or just to shop. I sometimes shop on a sort of day. Do a big shop to get the main things, and then I'll go every day because I'm completely obsessed with food and supermarkets and deciding what I'm going to cook or not, or in a market. So I will then go and decide I'm going to cook something completely different. So I try not to do a huge, great big shop because that's how I myself waste food.
50% of the total amount of food thrown away in the UK comes from our homes, and 7 million tonnes of food and drink was thrown away last year. These are more statistics from this research. Wasting food costs the average household £470 a year. Well, if there was any argument, that's it, isn't it? I mean, it's money in your pocket if you don't waste it.
Exactly. It's about £60 a month, I think.
Which is could be spent on a nice meal out, couldn't it?
Yeah.
Where the restaurant may waste food, but at least at their own expense.
Yeah. Or a nice Halloween party.
Yeah, lots of pumpkins you could buy with that money. Well, I hope you enjoy it with your daughter, Lisa. And
Thank you.
Tell us once again where you can get those recipes and tips from.
It's hubbub.org.uk.
Lisa Faulkner, Celebrity MasterChef winner. Did you use pumpkins, by the way, on MasterChef?
I did a pumpkin fondant, a butternut squash pumpkin fondant.
So you practice what you preach. Lisa, thanks for coming on.